Many countries have unique and strange traditions, but you may be surprised to learn that in one of the countries with the most blue-eyed blondes in the world, nudity is so natural that clothing is optional on some beaches and in some spas, and a trend is emerging that limits the use of underwear. In this new video from Uncensored World, we will travel to Sweden, the birthplace of Alfred Nobel, the inventor who gave his name to the Nobel Prizes, one of the northernmost countries, and also one of the most fascinating and beautiful on Earth. A country with traditions as surprising as saunas, where women dressed only in linen, attended to men in an act as healing as it was provocative, or curious rituals such as nattfrieri, where young couples slept together to get to know each other better. Sweden has the largest ice hotel in the world, in a city that was almost swallowed by the earth. It is also the place where the most coffee is consumed in the world, and where a king conducted an experiment with twins with the intention of banning it. A region where being married can mean the same as being poisoned, where Saturdays are the national day for eating sweets, and the only country where citizens manage the country's official Twitter account. Furthermore, although this is a fairly expensive country, it is good to know that there is a way to sleep for free, which you will soon discover. Although you should also be aware that the moose is the most dangerous animal in the country, and you should pay attention to the signs. Signs that also indicate that Sweden has gone from being one of the countries with the highest quality of life and safety on the planet in recent years to one of the most dangerous in Europe. Pay attention, and don't miss this video because we assure you that everything in it will surprise you. Let's get started. Sweden, a country located on the Scandinavian peninsula in northern Europe, is bordered by Norway to the west and north, Finland to the east, and the Baltic Sea to the south. With an area of approximately 450,000 square kilometers, Sweden is the third largest country in the European Union in terms of land area. But despite its enormous size, its population is only 10 million, resulting in one of the lowest population densities in Europe. This characteristic allows Sweden to enjoy vast areas of unspoiled nature and breathtaking landscapes, contributing to its reputation as one of the most beautiful countries in Europe. Sweden's low population density and remote location have undoubtedly contributed to the preservation of some of humanity's most fascinating and sometimes controversial traditions over the centuries. One such tradition is bundling, also known in Swedish as nattfrieri, which has survived in popular memory and may still be practiced in some rural villages. Bundling consisted of allowing young couples, usually engaged or in the process of courtship, to share the same bed to get to know each other better before deciding to marry. However, they remained fully clothed or wrapped in blankets to maintain a certain modesty and respect the social norms of the time. The idea was to provide an intimate space to strengthen the bond without consummating the relationship. This practice arose in a context where opportunities for young people to spend time alone were limited, especially in small, scattered communities. Thus, bundling became a socially accepted ritual that helped to assess compatibility and mutual affection before formalizing a marriage commitment. Although it is now an almost forgotten tradition, there are reports that in some rural corners of Sweden this custom is still preserved, more as a historical curiosity than as a common practice. Times have changed, something that can also be seen in a new fashion trend that is likely to change the rules of bundling itself. More and more women, especially young women, are choosing to do without traditional underwear, or at least wear it in very different ways. This choice is motivated by reasons ranging from comfort to a personal philosophy of freedom and naturalness. In this context, many decide not to wear bras or choose styles such as sports tops or garments that do not show visible lines. This trend is particularly popular in this country, as its culture values a taboo-free connection with the body and promotes comfort as a priority. As you will see throughout the video, Sweden has a long tradition of a neutral and less sexualized view of the body, which is why nudity in places such as saunas and certain beaches is considered natural and everyday. In this context, a new feminist movement known as bara bröst, only breasts, emerged in 2007, promoting the right to swim without a bra in public pools. In 2009, Malmö, one of the country's most important cities, eliminated the rule requiring women to cover their breasts in these spaces. Because of all this, in Sweden it can be assumed that a significant proportion of young women, especially in urban areas, choose not to wear bras for comfort, fashion, or personal conviction. It is not a universal rule, but it is a much more visible and socially accepted trend than in many other countries around the world. Returning to the country's most fascinating places, one of the most beautiful is the Stockholm Archipelago, made up of thousands of islands and islets stretching along the east coast of Sweden. With its picturesque landscapes, crystal-clear waters, and charming pastel-colored summer houses, the Stockholm Archipelago creates an idyllic and serene retreat where visitors can explore small islands, enjoy water sports, or simply relax in nature. Thinking about common practices in Sweden that are extraordinary and unique to this country, few people know that Sweden is the country with the highest per capita coffee consumption in the world, in a social reality known as fika. It's a tradition that centuries ago a king tried to change by conducting an experiment with two imprisoned twins, forcing them to drink 3 cups a day for years. An experiment that, as you can imagine due to the reality of fika, and as you will now discover, went very wrong. This passion for coffee is not just a matter of taste, but a true cultural tradition known as fika. More than just drinking coffee, fika is a sacred moment to stop, relax, and share with friends, family, or co-workers. A social break that strengthens bonds and promotes well-being. On average, each Swede consumes about 3 cups of coffee a day, and this custom has become a national symbol that even has its own unwritten rules. But the history of coffee in Sweden has not always been so peaceful. In the 18th century, King Gustav III, concerned about the possible negative effects of coffee on the health of his subjects, tried to ban its consumption. To prove that this drink was harmful, he carried out an unusual and surprising experiment. He chose 2 twins who were prisoners sentenced to death and ordered one to drink 3 cups of coffee a day and the other 3 cups of tea a day. The idea was simple: observe which of the 2 would survive the longest to determine which drink was more harmful. However, what seemed like a clear and definitive experiment did not turn out as the king had hoped. The twins lived for many years after the start of the study, and finally died within a few months of each other, without their deaths being attributed to either drink. This curious episode cast doubt on the idea that coffee was harmful to health, and contributed to the ban on coffee being lifted shortly afterwards. If you enjoyed learning about this experiment and are enjoying the video, give us a like and comment on how many cups of coffee you drink a day. We'd love to read your comments. Thus, far from disappearing, coffee became an integral part of Swedish life, and fika became a tradition that is still alive today in offices, homes, and cafes throughout the country. This story not only reflects the importance of coffee in Sweden, but also how Swedish culture knows how to balance well-being, socializing, and everyday pleasure. Leaving coffee aside and returning to the beauty of the country, another impressive corner is Lapland, known for its vast expanses of forests, mountains, and Arctic tundra. This region is the perfect example of Sweden's unique and wild nature, where more than 70% of the territory is covered by forests. Another impressive corner of Sweden is the Lapland region in the north of the country, known for its vast expanses of forests, mountains, and Arctic tundra. Here, visitors can experience the magic of unspoiled wilderness and participate in activities such as reindeer safaris, northern lights viewing, and husky sledding. The untouched beauty of Lapland offers a unique experience in an extraordinary natural environment. In forested regions such as Lapland, it is crucial to pay attention to danger signs, especially regarding the presence of moose, considered Sweden's most dangerous animals. Although they may appear to be majestic and gentle creatures, during certain times of the year, such as the autumn mating season, moose can become more aggressive and prone to attack if they feel threatened or cornered. These wild animals are very powerful and capable of inflicting significant damage with their front legs and sharp antlers. Therefore, when exploring forested areas where moose live, it is essential to maintain a safe distance and avoid getting too close to these animals. In addition to these warnings, caution should be exercised when driving on rural roads, as car accidents involving moose are also common. Unfortunately, every year there are victims, sometimes fatal, of these attacks or accidents, underscoring the importance of being alert and respecting wildlife while enjoying Sweden's natural beauty. This natural beauty is also found in the DNA of its people, as Swedish men and women are considered among the most beautiful in the world and in Europe. Swedish women are probably the European nation that has won the most beauty contests, and this has a lot to do with the strong mix of historical and cultural influences in their genes. While not all Swedes are of Viking descent, this heritage remains part of their identity. The Vikings, ancient Scandinavian sailors and warriors, left their mark on Sweden's history and culture, endowing its population with unique and extraordinary traits that have a lot to do with the color of their hair and eyes, as well as their good qualities and physical characteristics. In addition to these origins, other factors contribute to the reputation of the Swedish population as one of the most beautiful in Europe. Sweden is known to many as a paradise for blondes, as it is one of the countries with the highest proportion of people with blonde hair and light-colored eyes, often blue, in the world. This natural combination not only attracts attention, but has also made Swedish beauty internationally admired and recognized. In fact, Swedish women have won numerous beauty contests worldwide, standing out for their natural and elegant style. For those who enjoy traveling and seeking destinations with breathtaking landscapes and charming people, Sweden is an almost irresistible destination. Attention to personal care, a healthy lifestyle, and an emphasis on gender equality are aspects that contribute to their physical appearance and well-being. Sweden is known for its high quality of life, social welfare system, and focus on sustainability and the environment. However, as you will learn later, this reality has been changing so much in recent years that Sweden has become one of the countries with the highest levels of gun violence in Europe. Most of the population is concentrated in major cities such as Stockholm, Gothenburg, and Malmö, while vast areas of northern Sweden are sparsely populated, helping to maintain the beauty and wild character of its natural landscapes. Swedish geography is dominated by vast expanses of forests, lakes, and rugged coastlines. In the north are Sweden's mountainous regions, such as the Scandinavian mountain range, which is home to the country's highest mountain, Kebnekaise. Towards the center and south, extensive plains and farmland predominate, interspersed with thousands of lakes, rivers, and streams. When it comes to the most incredible places in Sweden, a fairy tale town called Kiruna is surely the one that best reflects the unique charm and beauty of this country. Kiruna is a fairy tale town very close to the Arctic Circle, where life seems to stand still when you look at it through pictures. But Kiruna had to change because the town was sinking. This city is home to the largest iron mine in the world, and also contains the largest ice hotel on the planet, a hotel that, like its inhabitants, had to be completely relocated a few years ago before Kiruna was literally swallowed up by the earth. Everyone had to leave because the city was sinking and cracking, posing a serious danger that the huge mine would completely absorb and swallow up this beautiful city. The huge iron mine in Kiruna has tunnels more than 2 kilometers long, an underground labyrinth full of holes that were destroying the foundations of the old city. The cracks and broken houses on the surface showed the city's response to the reality that exists below. The government therefore offered residents 3 options: move to a new home, have their house moved by truck, or buy a new one at a 25% discount on the market price. As a result, 3,500 houses were demolished to create a new town square and become the reference point for reaching the North Pole, as the new Kiruna is only 150 kilometers away. The relocation of Kiruna also endangered the famous Kiruna Ice Hotel, considered the largest in the world at over 5,500 square kilometers. This hotel, built entirely of ice and snow, requires sub-zero temperatures for maintenance. But the most surprising thing is that it is rebuilt every year due to high summer temperatures. The Kiruna Ice Hotel is located in Jukkasjärvi, in northern Sweden. It offers different types of accommodation. It is recommended to combine a cold night in the ice hotel with a warmer one in a hotel room or chalet, as heating or fire is not allowed in the frozen rooms due to the risk of melting. The room temperatures are around 5 degrees below zero, so guests sleep in sleeping bags. To enhance the experience, guests are awakened with hot juice. Apart from the world's largest ice hotel, Sweden also has one of the strangest hotels, but also one of the most prized by aviation enthusiasts, the Jumbo Stay. This hotel is inside a Boeing 747 and is located at Stockholm Arlanda Airport. This hotel is inside a Boeing 747 and is located at Stockholm Arlanda Airport. At the Jumbo Stay, guests can sleep in rooms built in the former passenger cabin and experience a unique stay in a real airplane. The well-being of these hotels has a lot to do with Sweden's long-standing reputation as a model welfare state, but this reality has undergone profound changes in recent years. The country has seen a worrying increase in gun violence, challenging its reputation for safety. While Sweden has historically ranked highly in terms of state efficiency and political stability, the last decade has seen an increase in gun deaths, reaching second place in Europe in this grim statistic. Several factors have contributed to this trend, including the difficulty of integrating an immigrant population that is growing rapidly each year and now accounts for a fifth of the country's population, concentrated in segregated areas of cities. Other factors include a lack of job opportunities and mistrust of the banking system. These factors have fueled the emergence of criminal gangs in the country, which clash with each other and with security forces. The sale of illegal substances has also become a lucrative activity in these environments, generating conflict and increasing the demand for weapons and, with it, violence. Despite this, Sweden remains a country with high standards and a good quality of life, so if you do not get involved in this type of activity, you should have no problem visiting the country. Be that as it may, this issue is one of the most important in the country's politics, which is why immigration management and social inclusion policies are crucial to improving the quality of life in this beautiful country. Despite so many problems, the quality of life is positive, which has a lot to do with the fact that this country is one of the few where no one works overtime. Swedes respect their people's free time so much that most companies have notification systems whereby, after the working day, an automatic response is sent to employees stating, "The working day is over, we will continue tomorrow." Free time is as sacred to Swedes as National Candy Day, which is every Saturday of the month. This strange tradition has a somewhat obscure origin that has to do with mental health tests conducted by the Swedish government in the 1940s to study whether there were any problems or negative effects linking physical and mental health to eating candy. The study found that eating sweets was bad for your teeth, and thus a tradition known as Lördagsgodis was born, a word that literally translates as Sweet Saturday, with which the government urged its citizens to set aside one day a week to practice this apparently bad habit. Thus, Lördagsgodis indicated that it was best to reserve Saturday as a special day for buying and eating sweets. It is therefore common for many Swedish families to visit specialty candy stores or supermarkets on Saturdays to choose a variety of treats, which may include chocolates, candies, gummy bears, gum, and other types of sweets. Living in Sweden can be expensive for many, as the cost of living in this Scandinavian country tends to be high compared to other places. For example, the average price of hotels can vary, but it is estimated that a night in a mid-range hotel can cost around $170. In addition, apartment rentals in cities such as Stockholm or Gothenburg can be quite high, with average prices often exceeding €1,000 per month for a one-bedroom apartment in the city center. However, it is possible to travel cheaply, as Sweden has a law known as allemansrätten, or public access right, which allows people to camp freely in nature and spend the night outdoors in many public areas. This means that you can sleep for free in nature, as long as you respect the environment and follow certain rules, such as not camping on private property, not disturbing nearby owners, or damaging nature. This law helps make life in Sweden more accessible for those who enjoy nature and want to explore the country without spending a lot on accommodation. It is a unique opportunity to enjoy Sweden's natural beauty and experience the freedom of camping in picturesque locations without having to worry about the costs associated with traditional accommodation. Facts like this indicate that Sweden maintains good policies for its population, despite realities such as rising crime. Another notable example of this is the fact that citizens manage Sweden's official Twitter account, now known as X, for set periods of time. This initiative, known as Curators of Sweden, allows citizens themselves to share their unique perspectives and experiences with the world, showcasing Sweden's diversity and cultural richness directly from the voice of its inhabitants. Thus, both government policies focused on well-being and active citizen participation contribute to strengthening the sense of community and commitment to the collective well-being of the country. A sense of community so extreme in certain areas that many foreigners are surprised, especially when it comes to the naturalness with which the body is lived. This is reflected in traditions that revolve around well-being and coexistence, such as the regular use of saunas and spas. Due to the cold climate, these practices are very common in Sweden as a way to relax, and something that often catches the attention of tourists is that in many of these spaces, people move around and bathe without wearing any clothes with complete normality and respect. This tradition has ancient and controversial roots, as in the case of sensual saunas and massages, where women, dressed only in linen, attended to men, washing and massaging them naturally and without shame. These encounters, seen as healing acts, combined body care with a delicately sensual atmosphere, without ever becoming inappropriate. In addition to saunas, Sweden also has numerous beaches where bathing without clothes is accepted and very common. On these beaches, both locals and visitors enjoy the sun and water in a natural environment, without taboos. Some of the best known are on the west coast near Gothenburg and in the Stockholm region, where the nudist tradition has become part of the summer lifestyle. For those visiting the country, these customs are refreshing and liberating, offering an authentic experience close to the cultural roots of Northern Europe. Now that you know these interesting facts, we would like to ask you, what do you think about bathing in mixed saunas without any clothes on? Would you dare to participate, or would you feel shy or embarrassed? Pause the video and leave us your comment. Doing so is the best way you can help this channel. We love having you with us and reading your comments every week, so thank you. And it may have a lot to do with the fact that Sweden is one of the countries with the most patents in Europe and the world. In recent years, South Korea and Sweden have been considered the most innovative countries in the world, according to a recent index that evaluates various factors, from the concentration of technology companies to the number of science and engineering graduates, or the number of patents filed. This index highlights Sweden's position as the economy with the highest number of patents per capita in Europe, and one of the highest worldwide. This indicates the strong drive toward innovation in these countries, as well as their ability to generate new ideas and technologies that contribute to economic and social development at both the national and global levels. This focus on innovation may be one of the factors that explains why some of the world's most influential companies, such as IKEA, Ericsson, and Spotify, have their origins in Sweden. Swedish executives such as Ingvar Kamprad, the founder of IKEA, have been prominent figures on the global business scene, ranking as the world's richest person for several years. The country's focus on science and engineering education, combined with progressive policies to support research and development, have created the best ingredients for driving innovation in one of Europe's most beautiful and fascinating countries. This excellence is also linked to Sweden being the birthplace of Alfred Nobel, the creator of the prestigious Nobel Prizes, which recognize outstanding achievements in fields such as physics, chemistry, medicine, literature, and peace. Alfred Nobel was a Swedish inventor, engineer, scientist, and entrepreneur who was born in 1833 in Stockholm, the capital of Sweden. His greatest achievement was the invention of dynamite, a technological advance that had a significant impact on the mining and construction industries, as well as, unfortunately, on warfare. In his will, he left most of his fortune to establish the Nobel Prizes, which would honor people who had made outstanding contributions in fields such as physics, chemistry, medicine, and literature, while also promoting peace, perhaps in part due to the horrific legacy of one of his most famous inventions. The first award ceremony took place in 1901, 5 years after his death, in accordance with his wishes. The fact that these prizes are awarded from Sweden once again highlights the country's unique qualities in promoting excellence, creativity, and progress in various fields. Fields such as those that can be seen from the ice roads, also known as ice roads, a unique feature of the Swedish winter, especially in the north of the country. They are so called because these roads are formed on frozen lakes and rivers, providing an alternative means of transport during the coldest months of the year. Temperatures in these regions can drop dramatically, reaching extreme lows of 30 degrees below zero and even lower, turning the water into a solid surface of ice that allows vehicles to travel. Traveling on the ice roads is a challenging but exciting experience, as it involves navigating a completely frozen and snow-covered surface where drivers must be prepared for these extreme weather conditions and take every possible precaution. These roads lead to Abisko, located in the far north of Sweden, one of the most popular destinations for those seeking to witness the dazzling northern lights, or spend a few days in one of the coldest villages on the planet. Abisko experiences extremely low temperatures during the winter, with lows that can drop below 40 degrees Celsius. This region is located at a similar latitude to Oymyakon in Siberia, which is known as the coldest inhabited village on the planet. By the way, if you want to know more about Oymyakon and inhospitable Siberia, don't miss the video that follows this one, and we'll leave it in the description. This region also offers optimal conditions for viewing the northern lights, as it has winters where the sun rarely rises, with very little light pollution due to the uninhabited nature of the area. To see the northern lights in Sweden, it is recommended to visit between September and March, when the nights are longest and the chances of sightings are highest. Visitors can choose to join organized tours or venture out on their own to remote areas far from light pollution for an even more immersive experience. In Abisko, for example, the Aurora Sky Station is an excellent observation point, offering an elevated platform above the valley that provides panoramic views of the night sky. As you can see, Sweden is one of the most fascinating countries in Europe. At Uncensored World, we hope this video has inspired you to explore this incredible country and discover its charm, and we recommend you don't miss the video that follows this one to continue enjoying the wonders, mysteries, and curiosities that make this beautiful planet called Earth unique. Click on it, you're going to enjoy it.